SBF. Uh, I don't know what to make of it. I don't know if they try to like show that they can be rough on, I don't know, certain people. SBF is heading back to jail, bail revoked because allegedly witness tampering. As far as I understand, the allegations of witness tampering are that he leaked a portion or some of his ex-girlfriend's diary to the press. I don't know exactly what the portions of the diary said, why that would translate into witness tampering or intimidation, but he's back in jail pending trial. Robert, what do you think of that?
This is a common pattern, and it'll be one of the things we discuss in the Trump case, that for too long, the Supreme Court has allowed judges to abuse their bail power. Your power for bail should be excessive bail should mean any condition that doesn't relate to your appearance for purposes of trial or punishment. That's what bail is there for. And the Congress changed it in 1984. And the Supreme Court approved it in a bogus case called Salerno, 5-4, a very narrow decision, which said you could take other factors into consideration and it wasn't quote unquote excessive bail. But what does witness issues have to do with bail? It should have nothing to do with bail or unrelated to bail. So, in my view, the revocation of his bail terms was patently unconstitutional. Secondly, this isn't witness intimidation. This effort to say only the prosecution side of events gets to be presented, and only what happens in court. You're only allowed to talk about it in court. You're not allowed to talk about it in the public. It directly contradicts not only the bail provisions, but directly contradicts the First Amendment and your right to public participation in public trials. And what it's intended to do is prevent you from defending yourself. Right. So here's Sam Bankman-Fried. Nothing he did was intimidation. Right. I mean, the impeaching a witness, embarrassing a witness, exposing a witness, criticizing a witness. That's not intimidation. Intimidation is something illegal, something unlawful. Bribing them. I'm going to come by and shoot you or kneecap you or take away your business in some illegal manner. That's obstruction. That's intimidation. Asserting your legal rights and remedies is not of a witness intimidation. So it's a preposterous ruling. But because nobody likes Sam Bankman-Fried, nobody cares. And this is where conservatives have been asleep at the wheel for forever. They care now that it's happening to Trump. But they didn't care when it was happening to Epstein or Maxwell when they were wrongfully denied bail. And they don't care when it's happening to Sam Bankman-Fried because, we don't like him, so let's throw out the Constitution there. It was mostly conservative judges and justices that created these evisceration of the Constitution, these so-called originalists, these so-called read it in the plain text. I don't know how many times the conservatives, I just want a judge who interprets and enforces the law. There's not a conservative judge in America who does that. So there's some that are better at it than others, but there's not a single one that sticks to it. And this is an embarrassing ruling that is a disgrace. And they always use unpopular defendants to establish terrible and horrendous precedents. And it's the same corrupt hack of a judge that's presiding over some of the Trump cases that has a long history of being a corrupt hack of a judge and a partisan hack who the Second Circuit refuses to discipline and the Supreme Court refuses to remedy.
Because I'm reading from an NPR article, but it's not maybe the best for the details, but it says the alleged leak of Ellison's diary. This is the leak of the diary, which included reflections on her relationship with Bankman-Fried and some of her professional misgivings, was the last straw for prosecutors. It goes down to say they also fault Bankman-Fried for having participated in more than 1,000 phone calls with journalists, more than 500 with the author Michael Lewis, who is writing a book about Bankman-Fried. So it sounds, I mean, I don't understand, and I feel like I'm missing something. It sounds like he's doing nothing more than talking in his own defense in the court of public opinion. And maybe, even if it's embarrassing to release the details of a diary, that's all that he's doing. Historically, I mean, I'm just a Canadian bumpkin. Witness intimidation was an unlawful, illicit manner of coercing or preventing certain testimony come trial. Nothing more, nothing less.
Completely. It has to be something that is unlawful, that is criminal. You can't say, you're doing something that makes a witness look bad. We're going to call that intimidation. That isn't what the law provides for. It's punishing him because he's defending himself in the court of public opinion. and they know that nobody cares about him politically, so they can get the courts to railroad him. And they're imprisoning him in the Metropolitan Detention Center. I
Is
don't
that
know why
bad?
how does the Southern District of New York always end up with jurisdiction in these cases? This guy didn't live in New York. This guy, I mean, he lived in the Bahamas. I mean, he otherwise lived in California. The case has no business, and they're going to put him in MDC. So let's see if he's still alive by the time of trial.
Is it?
50-50.
So I know nothing of that. Is that a particularly bad place, Robert?
That's where Epstein killed
Shut
himself.
the front door. Okay.
It's
Oh
known
my
as
goodness.
it's been sued repeatedly because of how dangerous it is.
I don't want to think conspiracy theories, but if Bankman knows too much, and now that they know that he knows too much, and send him to where Epstein was, and the guards will fall asleep, the cameras will malfunction, and Bankman pulls an Epstein.